Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are so glad that you've joined us today for a pretty exciting webinar.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
I am joined here with my colleague, Jon Powell, and we are going to be talking about how to crack the code of Facebook. But before we get started, I want to just make one quick announcement related to our upcoming Nonprofit Innovation Optimization Summit. Now, in case you are new to Next After or we are new to you, this event is rapidly approaching. We've got a quick little video that we're going to show while people are still filing in here just to give you a little bit more information. So hit it, Nathan.
Get them to say, I'm in.
Well, it's good to come here and kind of dream big and think big.
This is right up your alley. It's a unique experience.
If someone is considering coming to Neo Summit, what would you say?
Come. I'm at conferences constantly and I don't ever learn anything. And now I've learned things here and it's awesome.
We test to gain wisdom, to gain insight into the mindset of our donor.
It is so worth it. I came last year, I've obviously come this year, and it gives you new ideas, it inspires you. It's so cool to see all the people in the room.
This is really a positive environment. There's a lot of hands-on tools that you can use.
I loved the practical hands-on applications they presented, the case studies. I liked the humor of it. Definitely worth my time.
Well, we are super excited for NEO this year. We have 18 speakers coming from 5 different countries, and we've got experts that are going to be talking about everything from storytelling to data analytics to search engine marketing. We've got the head of Google AdWords grants that's going to be there. We've got an incredible venue this year. We're at the historic Aztec Theater, which is in downtown San Antonio, right there on the Riverwalk. We've got some great entertainment lined up. So if you want to find out more information or to get your tickets, you can head over to niosummit.com. All right, we've got a lot of content to get through, so a couple quick announcements and then we'll kind of get started here. First, many people ask this question, so let me just address it up front. We are making a recording of today's broadcast, and so we will be sending that out at the conclusion of our broadcast today, as well as with links to all of the different resources and experiments that you see in today's presentation. Now, we want today to not just be a monologue or even just a dialogue between the two of us, but we really want this to be interactive. We want your questions. Now, today is the very first time we're testing out a brand new webinar platform, which enables us to bring you 4K streaming video, which is super exciting. And we have a little question and comment box. Please use that to communicate with us during the presentation. Send your questions there. We'll try to get through as many of those questions at the conclusion of today's broadcast. I've already introduced myself and Jon, and I think we're going to go ahead and get started.
Let's just get started, yeah.
Now, I wish that I could tell you that acquiring donors on Facebook was as easy as this. I wish I had some sort of magical machine where you put the Facebook likes in one side and out comes names, donors, and dollars the other side. But unfortunately, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist,
right?
not
yet. But our crack team of scientists is working on it as we speak. It's actually a lot more complicated than that. In fact, we have a 12-module, 9-hour online course. It's free. We'll send a link out to it afterwards, so don't get distracted right now. But we're going to try to compress this entire 12-session online course into about an hour's time. In fact, actually 45 minutes, so we can leave some time for questions.
Yeah, get some questions.
Now, a question that always comes up when we talk about Facebook. Hey, you know, I get it. Facebook's awesome, but I didn't get in early on this whole Facebook-like thing. So can this really even work for me? Well, I've got good news, because you can acquire donors on Facebook. You can turn Facebook likes into donors, even if those likes are not your own. And the reason why is because every single one of these little Facebook likes is a data point, right? Basically, what we're communicating to Facebook is what we like about and care about and have interest and affinity about across a number of different topics. And each of these different Facebook likes is wired to Facebook's advertising platform, which means that we can target people based on interest, affinity, based on the things that they've already told us they're interested in and they like. Now, if any of you have tried Facebook advertising in the past, and you've tried maybe something like this, where you create a Facebook ad and you send people to a direct ask donation page. Well, if you tried something like this, you most likely probably experienced something kind of like this. And if you had that experience, you probably thought something like this, like, oh, Mark Zuckerberg, you evil one.
Sneaky guy.
He tricked us, right?
Tricked us.
He tricked us into using this platform.
Evil.
But hold up.
Wait, yeah.
Because maybe we're just doing it wrong, right? Let me show you an experiment. This is an ABCD test that we performed with a large national faith-based educational institution. And the goal of this experiment was to try to determine what is the lowest cost per acquisition channel. And so what they did is they gave us $20,000 as a test budget. We took the $20,000, we broke it up into into 4 segments of $5,000 each. And then we went to 3 different list brokers. We went to list broker 1, list broker 2, and list broker 3. We said, hey guys, here's the rules of the game. We're gonna have a bake-off, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna give you all the same offer, the same creative, and you can use any number of lists within your portfolio to be able to help us get the best and lowest cost per donor. But we also held back $5,000 and we ran Facebook ads alongside of that. And we measured the campaign on a number of key different metrics, but they fell into 3 basic categories: names or emails, donors, and dollars. So after performing the experiment, here's what we discovered. Compared to the nearest competitor, Facebook actually acquired 193% more leads, but they also did it at a 44% lower cost. We actually didn't even expend the full $5,000 budget on Facebook. And when it came to the actual number of donors produced, Facebook produced 285% more donors than the nearest competitor. Now, if we look at some of our key metrics, the things that we're always looking at, like we're looking at gross cost per email acquired. How much do we have to spend to acquire one email address? Well, on Facebook, it was 53 cents compared to $6.84, $4.75, and $2.77, which means that Facebook leads had a 419% lower cost to acquire. Now, emails are great, but donors are better. So what about in terms of the gross cost to acquire a donor? How much do I have to spend on media to acquire one single donor? On Facebook, it was $18.30 compared to $151, $164, and $3.57.
Wow.
Yeah, 728% lower on Facebook. Now, when we factor in the revenue that came in instantly through the acquisition campaign, right? When we factor that into the mix, we look at the net cost to acquire an email address. For every email we acquired, we actually made a $1.64 profit. Now that's compared to losing $4.45, $3.74, $1.49, right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to the actual cost to acquire a donor, for every donor we acquired on Facebook, we made a profit of $56.19. So why Facebook? Why are we so excited about this?
Right down there, yeah.
A lot of really good reasons. And for all of these reasons and more is why me and the Zuck are besties, right?
Yep.
So we're
together.
pretty tight. Actually,
together.
I've never met him, but if I met him, I would tell him thank you. So our goal today is the short amount of time that we have together, we're going to try to equip you with the most important keys to success, key takeaways, would you say, right?
Right.
To be able to help you be able to acquire names and donors online. And then we're going to give you some resources that you can go to get more help, right?
Right.
So what do you think,
wait
John?
a minute. So why aren't fundraisers getting these results? Especially like when I go talk to organizations and they're like, I've tried that Facebook thing, I'm not getting those results. What's the deal?
Well, there's a key reason behind that, John, and it's something that we have discovered a long time ago. It's this fact that we become so obsessed with being liked that we've forgotten what it's like to be loved. Right?
Tim, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
I know. Sorry,
Baby, don't hurt
it's a bad joke, John.
Yeah. So
nobody shares our sense of humor.
No, you got to listen to that song,
But when
right?
it comes to love and direct response, right? every single thing that I love must be measured, and it should be measured. And we look at 3 primary metrics, right? Names or emails acquired. How many new names or potential supporters can I acquire to continue to engage in conversation? How many donors can I acquire, and how many dollars can I raise? These are the 3 key ways that we measure direct response to love.
These are the 3 things that the CFO looks at, you know, especially donors and dollars, right?
Precisely.
That's love right there in their eyes. So it's, can't ignore it.
So before we go any further, I feel like we just need to make sure that everybody in the audience understands like what has gone into this information we're going to share. So just a little brief background on Next After. We're really 2 things. We're a fundraising research lab and a consultancy. We have published over 1,200 individual online experiments where we've run A/B tests and multivariate tests trying to determine what works and what doesn't. And out of over $12 million invested in this research, we have concluded a couple key things that I'm going to lay out. Number 1, first thing, people do not go online to give. They initially go online to get, right?
To get.
Think about this.
Yeah.
This is just basic human nature.
Right.
We're not automatically wired by default to be generous, right? Oftentimes generosity must be provoked in some way.
It has
or
to,
encouraged or inspired, right? Is probably even a better word.
It's not the default.
Now, my mentor, Tom McCabe, once put it this way. He said, look, in fundraising, we are in the relationship business because fundraising always happens in the context of a relationship. Our goal is to be able to connect, make a general connection between our organization, our cause, and a human being. And sometimes that's difficult because organizations are not necessarily people, right? Right. And this brings me to kind of point number 2. People will give to organizations that they already agree with and that they trust. Another one of my mentors, Josh McQueen, who's an incredibly brilliant man. He used to be the worldwide director of research for Lear Burnett. He had a research staff of over 250 people. He wrote this book about building brand trust. And he says that we found that people don't give to nonprofits as faceless organizations, but they actually humanize them as people that they know well and trust, right? So the question that we have to ask is, what is it that we're doing to be able to build genuine familiarity and trust with our potential donor? Key point number 3. The number 1 leading indicator of an organization's ability to raise money online is the size and quality of their email list. We have found this to be over and over and over again true. Email is really the true direct response channel that lives online. It's the closest thing that operates like direct mail, where many of us have started. And we, I don't want you to take our word for it because we've actually looked at dozens and dozens and dozens of nonprofit organizations' data. And I'm just going to share with you 4 examples of 4 completely different types of organizations. Now, in each of these charts I'm going to show you, the orange bar represents revenue and the blue line represents traffic. So let's look at the first one. This is an educational organization. And it might be difficult to read along the bottom there, but the spike in the middle there, the source of traffic, of the largest amount of traffic is email, and the source of the largest amount of revenue is email. Let's look at another organization. This is a membership-based association. In this case, this organization gets incredible amounts of traffic, so much so that we had to cut off the graph of traffic. So there's many, many, many other sources that produce more traffic than email. But when you look at the orange bar, which represents revenue, email is the largest producer of revenue. Let's look at a faith-based organization. In this case, email is actually closest to the bottom in terms of traffic, and they actually get tremendous amounts of organic traffic to the website because they have a broadcast platform, and they send people online. And it produces a lot of revenue, but email still, despite the fact that it has smaller amounts of traffic, produces more revenue. And then finally, an advocacy-based organization. So it's very similar to the first graph we looked at, where email is the largest driver of both traffic and donors. So therefore, this leads me to like my final key point. If you really want to acquire donors on Facebook, you need to become focused and even obsessed first with email acquisition, not necessarily donor acquisition. Because when we focus too heavily on donor acquisition, we're neglecting that number 1 point, which is people go online first to get. not to give.
Going to be focused on those relationships.
Okay, so
Building
John,
that connection.
help me unpack this, because we've got a short amount of time, and we
Right.
want to try and give people as many key takeaways as we possibly can.
Yes, I mean, one of the best ways to do this is to literally look at an example. The first time Tim and I talked about this phenomenon over a year ago when we started building the course was actually with an experiment we ran to actually verify the concept itself. And this was with Hillsdale College. They founded in 1844. They offer a lot of different education on the Constitution, on government, very useful for even authors such as C.S. Lewis. And if you take a look here, we for version A, we decided to put that old model to the test. Support us, make your donation now, go to a donation page.
Direct ask,
Direct
right?
ask. I mean, that's what we're used to doing. You know?
Small amount of friction,
Right.
There's not a lot of steps
Just
involved there.
one
Easy.
easy step, right? But we decided, well, what if we take this method like that we've been seeing over and over and over again and just directly apply it in this situation? What would happen? Well, you got your ask. Now we're not just asking for money first, we're giving them an opportunity to experience this free course on the Constitution. And then, as you can see here, we're asking for their email address, all right? So they can get this free course. So we can deliver it to them, give them access to it, and before they even get to the free course, right? They just accepted it. Congratulations, you are now enrolled. We make a donation ask. Now, the question is what happened? Did it give us any donors? Well, believe it or not, I guess you could say it's an infinity increase in donations because version A got nothing, 0, and look at the click rate. Significant difference. Even the acquisition offer produced a 209% increase in click rate. It actually got donations instantly. This is not counting the donations that would come as a result of following up on the emails as well, right? So this doesn't even account for that, but still it was able to immediately acquire donors.
Right.
So not this, again, but this. And I call it a 4-step method because even though there's an ad, there's an ask, and there's a donation page, there's something fundamental that has to be underneath all of it in order to work, and that is the offer. So again, what are the most important keys to success, right? We've got an entire, 9-hour course, 12 modules. If we were to break it down for you, and help you figure out, okay, what is it that I need to know? Well, you're in the right place. We're going to give it to you right now. Right. Let's start with the first key to success, and that is the offer, and it has to do with the offer. Okay, we cannot ignore this. Now let's just get on the same page. What is an offer? Just before we get to this key, let's define that really quick. It's something of value that your fans, not even your fans, somebody else's fans, just something of value that the people, the ideal donors that you're trying to get in front of are willing to trade their email for. Now here's the key. What is it not? Okay, that's what we have to ask. What is it not? Well, first off, it's not your organizational value proposition. Okay, it's not your mission statement. Okay, that is not an offer. Again, people come online to get. They're not coming to get your organizational value proposition, and they're certainly not coming to get a request to help you.
Certainly not on Facebook.
Not on Facebook, right? Okay, but what is it? Well, just a spoonful of sugar. Finish it for me, audience. Helps the...
I don't think that when we sing it helps us. I'm not sure
that's
really
it doesn't really help. It helps the medicine go down. For all you Mary Poppins fans or haters, you are all aware of this. But let me make it clear. What is the medicine? The medicine is the thing that the world needs. It's the reason why you exist, right? It's the thing that you know that they don't necessarily know. The sugar is what helps them realize they need it. It helps them to take it. It helps them to experience it and to want more after they do it. So, for example, you could do that through a petition. You can give voice to a cause that they believe in, and you could be the one putting that in front of others. You are working on behalf of them. Or an ebook, okay? I used to think that nobody read ebooks until I caught myself reading ebooks because I thought ebooks used to be this one thing. No, it's not as complicated as you think it is. It could be simply an assembled kind of PDF, 5 to 10 pages even, of something on a very particular topic that they just can't easily find somewhere else, that you've assembled, right, for them, related to your cause, but also interested to them. Courses, if you've got a lot more information, into the archives, you wouldn't believe that it doesn't take as much effort as you think to put together like a free course on some subject, right? Something they can benefit from. Quiz, you can test their knowledge. You've seen a lot of those on Facebook, right? Even news updates. You can give them timely updates on a subject that they're interested in, that you are very close to, right? And it's like effortless for you, but for them, think about how many steps they can take. They can eliminate all of that by having that direct connection for you. But there's one thing in common. This is the key. Pay attention. This is it. The one thing in common that all of these offers have is that they're for them.
Right.
They're not for you. They're first for them. Now, they're not movie tickets, okay? Of course, I'd love a free movie ticket, but what does that have to do with what you do? It has to be a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down, not the movie theater profits go up, right? It has to be connected. And even more so important, I mean, think about the people who are donating. I mean, we're all, like, why shouldn't I just do a Snapchat campaign? Well, are they the ones doing the donations? Are they the ones making the donations right now? No, it's the baby boomers, it's the seniors, right? And think about the things that they want to achieve. They want to learn new things, right? They believe in the importance of government programs. They want to feel productive, useful, helpful. You can be the avenue for them to continue to do these things, to grow themselves, and they wouldn't even realize that they're making this great connection with you. It's just amazing.
It is amazing.
So that's the first key takeaway, right? So let's move on to the second one, and it has to do with the ad, actually.
Yeah. So this is a place where a lot of folks get tripped up, right? Because when we go to craft the ad, sometimes it's hard starting with a blank sheet of paper, right?
I mean,
so how can we get started?
Template like this, right? And you're thinking, maybe you even looked at the Facebook template, and you're like, wow, okay, maybe I just need a couple lines of text, right here on the top. I just my call to action is what they call it right here, the news feed link description, an image like most people don't have a problem maybe choosing an image, and this isn't so bad. But this is where a lot of people get hung up, especially that blank sheet of paper, and they think, you know what, it's Facebook, it's mobile. Maybe I should just keep it short, right? Well, thank goodness we've got this wonderful library of experiments, over 70 Facebook ad experiments. I don't know of any other place that has that, even from where I've come from, right? And using those, we actually found patterns around this one particular hard, difficult issue. It's that text description. It's the thing that stops us. It's the thing that makes us wonder, what am I doing? Am I doing it right? Am I saying too much? Am I saying too little? Does it even really matter how much I say, on especially something as mobile as Facebook?
Well, and this is true for not just Facebook ads, but generally people online. They say, the general kind of body of wisdom says, well, people don't read online.
Right, like
people
they
just
don't
look
read
at the
emails.
pictures.
They don't read long emails. They don't read text descriptions. Well, I want you to pay attention right now. I want to show you a few key case studies that will help us, figure this out.
Great.
First one. What do you guys think? Oh, did you see this? The see more, right? Well, let's click it. Let's see what finds out. Whoa, twice the length. What do you guys think? Up, down, no difference? Well, 21% more emails. I'll take it, right? Well, I'm not finished, right? Let's take a look at another one. Now, twice the length, but not like, a novel, right? Make a difference at all? No difference? Whoa, it's gotta be a typo, right? No, it's no typo. 316% increase in emails. Let's take a look at another one. Remember this little see more icon right here? Click on it, goes down a little bit more. What was the result? 104% increase. Are you guys seeing a pattern?
I call them see more emails,
right?
Or see more clicks.
Yeah, see more clicks, something. One more, let's just do one more, okay? C.S. Lewis, we got at least 3 more lines here. Make a difference? Whoa! See more clicks, see more emails.
Right.
That's you. Here's what we've learned. Here's what we've learned when it comes to making Facebook ads. There's one thing that you really need to focus on. It's on providing them full context around the offer. Here's the thing. People don't see excessive text when they see that's something that's relevant. And let me help you break it down. Let's take a look at those case studies a little bit. Here we've got Greg Laurie is kind of one of those kind of famous, like a celebrity pastor, okay, a religious organization, right? And in this, what it does is it actually connects with the person about this initial fear that they share in this thing that they're trying to do, right? They have a specific task according to their faith that they've got to do, and he's using this extra text to connect with them on that. And that is why it was able to drive more engagement, to drive more action, as opposed to just keeping it quick, Not really. So let's go another one. Okay, here's another one from Greg. Here we go. Gain a deeper understanding of heaven. That's it. That's all that I have to go off of. I mean, let's just think about it. How many other celebrity preachers have something to say about heaven, and that's all that I have to go off of? But if you look over here, he provides this angle. Some think of it as it's this, but actually it's this. So now he's provided detail as to the difference, the value proposition that this piece of content has over all the other ones, and now people want to click. What about C.S. Lewis? Did you guys know that he created the Chronicles of Narnia? You've seen the movies maybe, if you've got kids, right? Came out 2001 and 2003, right? This is the guy that created Narnia. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm curious. You see how when you articulate what really makes this piece of content different and interesting, that's when you activate their interest, right? So I like to say, you won't truly activate their interest, you won't truly activate the action, okay, until you articulate the difference, the value of what it is that you are offering, right? Or in other words, just describe your offer in more than 2 lines of text. When you do that, you're going to get a lot more action.
So key to success number 1 is don't be afraid of using text to describe your offer in the Facebook ad. People do read. There was a famous quote, I think it was Gossard or somebody said, people don't read ads. They read things that interest them that is sometimes an ad. Right? So don't be afraid of that.
Yes.
All right,
exactly. That's very well.
Let's keep moving, John.
Let's go,
success number 3. Key to success number 3.
Let's keep going.
So now we're kind of transitioning from the offer to the ad, and now we need to talk about how do we get those email addresses, right? Like what kind of page should I construct? Have we learned anything about how to best message this offer on a landing page that converts?
Yeah, does it matter even? Like that's one question that I get. Can I just send them to a page and ask for the email, maybe a little picture or whatnot? Well, I always like to answer this with a test, right? The data, we'll just put it out there. Let's see. And I'm going to ask you, which one of these 2 pages do you think will get more or attract more email addresses? Is it version A or version B? It is the same exact free offer, the same free ebook that they're getting. What do you think? Why don't you just use your chat to tell us? What do you think, A or B? Let me see. I think we have access to it. I'll give you just a couple of seconds. Tell me what you think, version A or version B? All right, now that I'm kind of seeing those things come in, I'm seeing your responses, let's go ahead and give you the answer, okay? Even if you didn't put it in your chat, you probably have one in your mind, right? Okay?
A lot for B, buddy.
I'm actually seeing a lot for B, okay? A lot for B.
A few for A.
We got a few brave souls for A. All right, a few brave souls. Well, I hate to break it to you, Bs, but version A significantly outperformed version B. 31% more emails. Okay, why? What in the world is going on here? Why did I pick wrong? Why did you pick, it's okay. I'm gonna give you the key. We're gonna fast forward. Awesome. Go past go, collect $200. Well, don't collect $200. Here's the key. People react to web pages in the same way they react to people. That was the key to knowing which one would win. But John, I'm just not seeing it.
Right.
Well, let's walk through the case study, okay? Now this was the big loser, okay? B for big loser, right? Let's take a look at the headline. Well, number 1, does the headline really describe what they're getting? What they're getting is this ebook called Struggle and Success, right? Exclusive Texas history news? No, complete disconnect. Plus, look how small it is. It's pretty easy to kind of go over, okay? Right? If I'm going to have a conversation with somebody, it needs to be clear, and I need to have a clear beginning. I need to kind of be able to follow where you're going if I'm talking to you, right? Well, let's just keep going. The main image, right? Now, this is iconic, right? We've got Dr. King, right? But does this really represent what they're going to get? I mean, like if we're having a conversation and I'm going one direction, but then all of a sudden I ask you for something else, I mean, how are you going to feel? Like, wait a minute, I thought we were talking about this, not that. This image just kind of takes me in another direction. Right. It doesn't help me understand what it is that I'm going to get and when and why I should want it. It's just a pretty picture.
I always like to say, give your page the blink test. And actually, there's even tools online that you can do 5-second tests where you show people your page for 5 seconds, and then you ask them a question like, "What do you think this page is about?"
Yeah.
If I did a 5-second test on this page, I'd say it's news about Dr. Martin Luther King. Right. I mean, like that's what my brain would put together. That's how it would try to make sense out of the mayhem that's on this page.
So it makes sense why somebody would be lost and confused and why they're like, I don't want news about Dr. Luther. Maybe I want a little bit more. Maybe it's too narrow, right? You can see where it's just a misunderstanding, this page, right? And most bad conversations are misunderstandings. Right. Let's take a look at another piece, body copy. Now, the link, we talk enough, but we're talking about the wrong things. Okay, imagine we say, talk to me. I mean, I'm really smart. I've got, this, I can talk to you about 5 or 10 topics. No, conversations don't revolve around how much you can talk about. It revolves about something of interest. You actually talk about the thing that they're interested in, right? And this talks all about the facts of the book, not actually what's inside of the book. Okay, again, you're gonna lose somebody. Another point, again, I make that point there. Next thing, this call to action header emphasizes what I have to do first. The small subliminal things like, do this for me and then I'll give it for you. I mean, come on. Or I can get this thing for you, I just need you to do this real quick. Do you feel the difference between the two?
Yeah, I mean, the sign up part is the work that I have to do.
Right.
I don't want to do work. I want to get the book, right? Like I want the free offer. I don't want to sign up for anything.
Right, and if you're in a conversation with somebody, you're going to focus on the thing that they want before the thing that you have to ask, the thing that have to do to get it, right? Otherwise, you're going to lose there. They'll be like, they're going to start looking the other way. And then finally, the actual button itself. Get a free copy of Struggle and Success. At this point, the only reference to struggle and success really is here, this small little bit. It's so easy to miss. I was teaching a group just the other day. I showed them this page, and they were like, "What's struggle and success?" I'm like, "You didn't read it." But that's all. You know what? That was the point that I wanted to make. You didn't read it.
Right.
You were lost already. Right. You were all over the place.
I don't want to struggle.
Right, yeah. I don't want to struggle. I want to have success. If you don't want to struggle and you want to have success with your offer, make your pages more conversational, okay? And just take a look.
Go back to it.
Take a look here. Again. See, it's clear. In honor of Black History Month, get the latest ebook celebrating America. Okay, so this is clear. And we actually talk about what's inside of the book, okay? We describe why should I even care about this ebook? And it goes into some of the reason why we should care. And then it tells you a little bit more about the facts, okay? And then now I can see what I'm getting. I'm getting something that I can read digitally. Get your free copy. It doesn't even tell me what I have to do. I already know instinctively, and it just reinforces that. You see how it just leads you to the right place. It's clear. It's focused on what they're interested. Can you guys see the difference?
It's like night and day once you explain it, John.
Well, yeah, right. Exactly. So make your pages more conversational. That's the big key. And one more thing. When we're finished, we'll send you out an email with this wonderful template that we used all of the database to create. This is one of the benefits of the course. We don't have time to go through it all right now, but the principle of making something more conversational is baked into all of these recommendations.
So this is based off of every experiment we've performed on email acquisition landing pages, and this is the template you'd create based off of that research.
Yes, and as we get more experiments, we'll update it. Because again, when you're testing, you never 100% know. It's all about how much risk.
Right.
And so this is probably the best place that you could start based on everything that we've seen.
Awesome. Is it the ultimate template? No.
No.
But is it better than, better starting place?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Start testing.
Use research driven, right? That's what we'd like to say. So let's go to key success number 4.
So John, so far you've told me how we can, create an offer, create an ad that's going to send people to an offer that's going to be on an email acquisition landing page. So I get how I'm acquiring new emails.
Right.
But how do I get new donors? I mean, where does that magic?
I didn't forget.
Okay,
I promise you. I didn't forget. This wasn't a flim flam. I didn't just say, okay, we're going to talk all about email and not about getting donations. There is indeed a donation ask at the end of this sequence. And you're probably thinking, no. How is this possible? Okay, they haven't even had time to open the ebook, to go into the course. They came to the course. They wanted it. So they're actually going to donate? Well, here's the thing. I just want to bring you to a point of realization is that when people accept your offer, they're actually beginning to accept you. They're beginning to like you. They're beginning to appreciate you. They're like, oh, this is interesting. Cool, only my email address, right? There's a feeling that they experience, which opens them up. They have a sense of gratitude, which gives them, and you're actually giving them a chance to act on that gratitude.
Right.
And not everybody is, but there are actually people that will act on that gratitude right away. And if you don't believe me, well, let's just look at the data.
And there's a psychological principle that's at work here. It's
Yes.
the concept of reciprocity. We are giving somebody something of value, something they perceive to be even more valuable than their personal contact information. So immediately people feel, I mean, this has been documented in a number of different academic studies, that people feel this kind of sense of, almost indebtedness, right? Like as if they want to pay that debt back some way.
Not in a negative way either.
No,
It's
not in
very-
a negative way. They're thankful.
They're very thankful. They're grateful.
And when you're grateful, when you feel like you've been given something of value, then oftentimes that inspires you to, respond in kind.
Right. So can I just send them to my main donation page then?
I don't know.
Well, that's the big question that I get at this point. Okay, you've convinced me, but what about the donation page? Well, let's look at a test. Okay, here again, we're following the same example that we've had before. Constitution 101, check, got the ad, gave my email address, but now we put them in front of a donation page, and here's what looks like almost kind of a main donation page. It isn't, because there's just one little reference here to their participation, but it's not even clear. So and the rest of it is all what you have here. It's all of the forms and everything else that you need, and a donate now button. So
this form is to get a donation.
Yes.
So this is immediately following the email acquisition offer.
Absolutely.
And we call this a what, John?
We call this an instant donation
The
page.
instant donation
So
page.
instant, before they even open up the ebook, before they go into the free course. That's when it's happening. No, so we decided, is this enough? We made another page, okay? And here you can see a little bit of a difference. Same headline, but now there's a little bit of reason to donate. And you begin to notice even the way in which the donation page, slightly different style. The question is did this even make a difference, right? Is it even necessary to do this extra work? Well, I'm here to tell you that yes, it did make a difference. We saw a 35.8% increase in instant donations. That means that this one did get donations, maybe just barely enough, but this one got significantly more donations, which leaves us with the question, if they accepted the offer, or if the accepted offer that's already there is providing us donations, what was it about version B that made it so much more attractive? What was it about it that helped them to guide that gratitude into action? Well, thank you, research database. 141 different experiments that we were able to draw from to get this answer. And here's what I've learned. Here's the key, number 4. The key is that you have to ask for the donation in context. John, what does that mean? Anybody have kids on the webinar? Anybody have kids? Okay. So I've got a daughter. She's 5. And have you ever tried to get a kid to eat breakfast and they didn't want to eat breakfast?
Every day of
Oh my
life.
gosh, like it's pulling teeth, all right? You get them to want to brush their teeth. I mean, how do I get them to brush their teeth? Aha! I know. Paw Patrol, princesses, shimmer and shine. That's how you get them to eat breakfast and brush their teeth. You give them something in context of what they like. Okay, they need to eat. That is the medicine, but the sugar is the characters. It's the coloring. It's all, and General Mills, they know what they're doing. They're gonna sell more cereal doing that. And they've got even more princesses than that. I've experienced all the boxes. It's the same cereal, different packaging, but it keeps my daughter buying it, right? And so what we have to do is the same thing, okay? So here, and again, you remember the Greg Laurie examples, right? Okay, you are enrolled in the Tell Somebody online course. There you go, here's what happens next, but then it doesn't really get into why you want the donation. It just tells you you're going to get the course. But here, what happens is, we tell them they're gonna get the course. They don't have to do anything else at this point to get the course. But here, we offer this course for free because we want to help others, okay, get this information just like you. Would you be willing to help us get more of this thing in the hands of others, right? And by taking this little bit, this extra bit of content and helping them give the reason of the specific context. We don't just want them to support our organization, we want them to support to get this one thing into other people's hands. That resulted in a 164% increase in donations, just this bit of copy here. Let's take a look at another example. Remember C.S. Lewis, right? Well, this is, okay, so we mentioned it, yep, they're gonna get it, this is the same. This is the same, right? But what's different? Here, this just tells you that Hillsdale provides free courses, right? No problem, great, wonderful. Help get more free courses into the hands of others. This one on the right uses a little bit of extra text right here to say we offer this course because we hope more people will experience the truth and beauty of C.S. Lewis's writings. Just a little sentence or two about the context, about keeping in context with the thing that they just received. That resulted in 22% more. Are you guys following along here? Okay. The key is that you don't just make a donation ask for your organization. You make a donation ask for them to keep getting this thing that they just signed up for, this thing that they already agree with, this thing that they love, into more hands, and then to help your organization do more things like it. Right? So, a little faith, a little trust. Oh, and there's one more thing. It's the pixie dust. We've got another template for you.
Yep. This time is 23 different zones.
Right.
Looks like.
Now, the good news is for that online course that we mentioned, we actually go through all of these different things, and we can help you build one from scratch. Okay, following that. So you guys can have that there. We'll send you the link out to this if you don't want to bother with that and just want to go straight to the template. But that's where we're at with this. So that's key success number 4, ask in context. Don't just ask.
Right. So what about key number 5, John? I mean, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, what about targeting?
Yeah.
How do we target our ads? What about do we have any sort of strategies or things that we've learned through testing about how to do the follow-up emails?
Right.
What about the things that we should measure to understand if our campaign is successful or if it's not? And finally, how exactly do we go about setting all this stuff up? Right. Well, as we mentioned at the beginning, our time today is short. We do want to make sure we have some time for questions. So we do have a 12-module online course that goes into all of these issues and more. It's free. We're not trying to sell anything. This is just stuff that we believe very deeply in, is sharing what we're learning constantly in our research lab to help equip you to be a more effective fundraiser. So if you go online to courses.nextafter.com, you can sign up for that online course, and there's 12 modules that'll walk you through that. But
wait, there's more.
There's more.
There's more. ShamWow.
We also have a number of different worksheets and templates and other resources that you can download to be able to put to use immediately to help you get more names, donors, and dollars out of Facebook. And at this point, John, I think we've got about 15 minutes, which is exactly perfect. We want to have 15 minutes left. So we're going to go ahead and start to move into some questions. Now, I've been kind of scanning this as we've been going through the webinar today. And there's a couple that I think are pretty interesting. A few folks have asked the question. I really was hoping that this webinar would get into how to craft an effective offer. My problem is I don't know what I can offer my potential donor that they would perceive as being valuable.
Right.
And I know that you quickly at the beginning went over a couple of different ideas of things like eBooks or offering petitions or online courses or things like that. But what if I don't have any of those things to begin with? What if my organization doesn't produce those? How do I create them? And I think one thing that we found is that we can actually take your most popular blog posts, like if you have a blog, or articles, or if you have somebody that has given a speech, take a transcription of that and take these things and create a new ebook. It's very, very cheap and cost effective. And the cool thing about ebooks is that there's zero fulfillment costs, right? You can immediately send those to people, and it could be a way to grow your email file. Right. Now, another question that has come up, and John, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Some folks are saying, look, man, when I send people from Facebook or Twitter to my website, I don't get as many donations than if I just actually let them give through Facebook's online giving platform. So what would you say in response to that? I mean, how would you address that?
The question is where are you sending them? Right. One of the most basic and most fundamental principles of landing page optimization, right, is if you have an ad for an offer, you want to send them to a page that has that offer right there ready for them. And if you're not careful, if you don't craft it in such a way where you focus on that thing, you give them so many opportunities to kind of lose focus, right? You've got to keep them focused on that thing that they want. Now, if you're just sending them to your website for the sake of sending them to your website, that's not going to work out for you. I promise you. You're probably now you got to hope that one of your insight ads can distract them long enough to. But you've got the opportunity right there. And I'll just use the donate function on Facebook. Did you know that Facebook is not obligated to give you the information about those donors unless the donor themselves elect to do it, and they don't go out of their way to do that.
Yep.
So do you really want to do that?
Well, that's actually looks like we got a comment that says, we get thousands of dollars a month through supporter fundraising pages, but Facebook makes the donors opt in and give their email addresses to us, and they said that rarely happens.
It rarely happens.
So here's a challenge, and this is something that we've been very vocal about. We've communicated to Google, we've communicated to Facebook. When we have donations go through these third-party intermediaries, right, where it goes into a donor advised fund or some other type of holding system, right, where the donor has to specifically opt in, we feel that this actually really undercuts our ability to be good stewards of these donations that we've received, right? We can never go back to the donor and say, hey, thank you so much for giving your gift. By the way, here is the impact of your gift, right? So we're going to continue that campaign, and that's why, look, this model that we're outlining for you, this is not the only way, and I hope that that's very, very clear. But this is a way for you to build your own value, to be able to build a contact database of potential donors and existing donors where you can continue to engage with them without having to go and pay Facebook for ads every single time, right? We're trying to get value out of Facebook into our own file, right? Okay, so what about some other questions here? This person says, look, I'm a small social service agency and I don't really have anything to offer that would appeal to my existing donors.
Oh, that's a question that I received yesterday.
Well, tell me about that,
the day
John.
before.
Okay. Because you were doing some offsite training.
I was doing some offsite training, and I've got a lot of and these experts, they're experts in direct mail. They're very good at what they do. But when it comes to building relationships with new donors in the digital space, they work with a lot of social service organizations, specifically like food banks. They're like, John, what could I possibly offer? I mean, they've been talking about doing recipes and stuff, and I'm thinking, well, let's go back to the principles, right? Number one, it's got to be for the donor, but it also has to be relevant to you, and it's got to connect in a way that will want to make them donate to what it is that you're doing. So I said, let's just brainstorm off the top of our head really quick. And I'm like, now I know seasonality's got to be a big thing for these, like food banks, for example, especially during Thanksgiving, holidays, whenever there's big food gatherings, right? That's when people's minds are already there. I said, what if you created a simple ebook, which is maybe just an article or two you probably already have. Your organization has information about logistics, about how to get food into the right hands that they don't have. So you could say, here are 3 ways that you can help feed the hungry in 30 minutes or less on Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving without having to volunteer a full day at a soup kitchen, right? Yeah. I would love to know that because I wouldn't want to have to feel guilty anymore, especially if that's on my mind. How can I help? But I've still got all these plans. You have information. That
how can I put the thank back into Thanksgiving? Or
right.
Different things like that.
And somebody else said to me, they're like, I'm a library. Everything that I offer is free. And I was like, but how long would it take for them to go into that library and find something on a very specific, relevant, topical issue? You could do that for them. You could go in, put some things together, and there you go. So there's just a couple ideas, right?
Here's a tricky one. So GDPR has changed the game for a lot of us, right?
Yes.
And so the question here is, how do you balance collecting these email addresses with privacy preferences? I mean, they opt in to receive an ebook, not necessarily receive donor appeals or solicitations, right? So how are we going to deal with that?
We did run tests on that, and we actually did see the impact. There was a slight dip in acquisition, but it wasn't a massive dip. It was more like a 10% dip. We were thinking, oh no, it was an extra opt-in box. Yes, I want to receive future communications. It was very clear what they're going to get. Or please enroll me in this, or please, Yeah, we made it very clear. Like, yeah, you can uncheck the box and totally get the ebook and not have to worry about it. But when we gave that option to people, many people still took advantage of it. Why? Because again, if this organization is offering me this valuable thing, how much more value are they going to offer me, especially if I present the additional checkbox with the same type of value? I would love to know about more of types of things like this, or I'd love to know about how I can continue to help impact this. You give them that option, not just on the email acquisition page, but also on the instant donation page.
And I'm going to be completely candid. It's going to be a growing challenge.
Yes.
So adding all of this GDPR required privacy language and running all the stops in order to be compliant is going to hurt your ability to acquire new email addresses. So I think that part of what we're going to have to do is continue to test that. We're going to try different ways of creating a value proposition for why somebody should check that box, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're obviously giving them something of value with this ebook, but maybe we say, and we've got a whole lot more coming. All you got to do is check that little box, right?
Right. I mean, I remember an experiment, even from my for-profit days, where you change the value proposition. That one little piece of text next to the checkbox can make a massive difference in people's desire to opt in. So that's where we've got to start, and that's where it started from the beginning. I'm not asking them to donate in Facebook. I'm asking to attract them from something that they want.
Okay, so here's a pretty maybe this is a quick answer one. So any insights on targeting those who have specifically liked your organization's Facebook page? Like, how do we, rather than somebody who threw a general ad, so how do we target those people with communications?
It's great. In Facebook, in the Business Manager, if you go in there, there are the campaigns, right? So you're going to create a campaign for your offer, okay? And then in that campaign, you have different ad sets or audiences. There are at least 6 ad sets that we say every new offer should test. One of those ad sets are people that have already liked your Facebook page, because you want to see how your offer responds, not just to new folks, but to people who are also familiar with your organization, because if they don't respond well, so it's just a simple setting. You just go in there, say, I want to select people, and we'll show you how to do that in the course, but just that's one audience that you can do, and then if you desire so, you can always adjust the ad for that audience. You may not need to take that step right away, but it's just a quick setting, it's an ad set, under a campaign.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of other fun things that you can do through Facebook ad targeting. So for example, if you have a list of direct mail donors and you do not have email addresses for them, you can actually upload that list of addresses. Now, Facebook has privacy things in place where they literally just, they match the names and they instantly delete the data, but they're just creating that cookie between that person and their Facebook profile. And what that enables you to do is to actually display online ads to your offline donors. And we have tested this in many different ways. And one of the things that we found is just by displaying different types of content offers, we can actually begin to acquire the email addresses for our offline donors, which gives us an opportunity to communicate through 2 channels.
Right.
But we've also seen how just those ads alone are affecting people, those online ads are affecting people's offline engagement behavior, meaning people that see those ads are giving at a higher rate.
Yeah.
So some interesting stuff related to that.
There, right? Yeah.
Okay. I think we are just about out of the time, and I'm not seeing a whole bunch of. Here we go. Here's another question here. How do we feel about lead gen on Facebook versus website clicks and email sign-up forms? So using the Facebook built-in lead generation capability versus actually sending people off-site to a landing page that we control. What would you say about that, John?
To me, it's about how much control are you really getting?
Yeah.
When you allow Facebook to control that information, they're getting more and more pressure to hold tight, to not share. They are under the microscope. You, however, are not so much. So do you really want to work with them? In fact, I was at the Classy Collaborative in June, and a lead Facebook representative on their team was there, presented right after me on the same stage. And guess what? Everybody was asking her at the end of her session, when are you going to release the information to us? I'm sorry, we have no plans at this time. I know, deflect, deflect, deflect. So in my eyes, you want to build that relationship with your new potential donors by bringing them into your house. You don't want to if you want to grow with a relationship with anybody, you can't just keep meeting them at the coffee shop. you've got to earn their trust that they're going to come to your house. And a lot of times that's through mutual interests.
Right.
That's through offers like this. So my piece of advice is don't put as much of your cookies and your eggs in that basket.
Right.
You want to have more of that control so you can do a better job at the relationship than they can.
And I'll answer that question a little different way, but when it comes to online and acquisition, I am an absolute control freak, right? I don't want to be limited in any sort of way on how I display my offer, my forms, my fields, my value proposition that may be built into somebody else's platform. I want to have complete control over that. And I want to test the doggone dickens out of every single little thing so that I can figure out how to best get the most results. So every single dollar I plug into advertising is going to produce the maximum amount of value to me. So I would simply say I would advocate for testing, sending people out of Facebook to your landing page where you can completely control the experience, where you can run A/B split tests, where you can track all the analytics and find out where people are falling out of your funnel. And that would be my best advice to you.
Same thing with donation pages. Like if you put PayPal on there, guess what? PayPal will take them away from your site. And you can't control that. And we've seen some instances where we've lost a lot of donors by giving people that option. So again, that just speaks to that point. Just be careful about trusting that process and experience to somebody else that doesn't know you, doesn't know your organization, doesn't know your donors as well as you do.
Great. Somebody asked, how can we find a resource outlining the process that we just described of uploading addresses so that you can target those in Facebook? And I believe, John, we've got that.
We've got it.
We've got it baked into the course.
It's
so
there.
if you go, do you remember which module it is? So we can skip them right there.
8, maybe. It's
in the targeting section.
It's in the targeting section, right?
So if you go to courses.nextafter, sign up for the Facebook course, which again is all free, you can find the module on targeting, and that should get you exactly where you need to go. Okay. Somebody asked, is there a limit on the number of characters that you can include in description text? And actually, somebody answered it. There we go. The only limits are the headline and description below the ad, so there's no limit on the top description text. So,
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what else we got here in terms of questions. Okay. What advice, John, would you offer to smaller nonprofit organizations without big Facebook audiences and yet limited staff time to develop such great ads, courses, ebooks, etc.? Like, how do we make this work when we may be a small shop? We don't have a lot of resources.
At this point, what you do is you don't have to. A lot of times, I remember when I thought of this initially, I thought that I had to create an ad for every single audience because that's the right thing to do. But when I talked with our team here, and I actually sat down and learned how they do it, they did this thing called audience shopping. I'll make one ad, one offer, one ad, right? And I'm going to display that ad against multiple audiences. Before I spend any more time and money, I'm going to be able to get a sense with real data if it's something I can invest more money into.
Right.
And the entire process that we have of what to do next is all based off of, is it worth my time? Like, where's my money? Where should it really be going? So you don't have to create 6 ads for 6 audiences. You don't have to create 3 ads for 1 audience. You don't have to start testing. All you have to do is just start with something. Just build it.
Right.
Create it and make it the easiest thing that you can, and just get a little pilot amount of money, get the 6 audiences in, and just forget it. Because even then, you still have to wait a week or 3 days and to get enough data. If you're small, maybe it's a week, 2 weeks before you can get enough data to even know what to do with it.
Right, and that's on the ad side. And I think that like sometimes the struggle and really the most difficult part, and the part that we are going to require the people that are taking this course to invest the most time in, is trying to come up with, what can I create as a valuable offer, right?
Right.
And I know that inside the course, we walk through the whole psychology of offers. We kind of talk about all that stuff, but at the end, we also have a exercise and a worksheet that people can go through
Step by
to
step.
begin to brainstorm different types of sources of content that could be used to be turned into a valuable content offer.
Yeah, there are questions that we'll ask you, questions that if I were right there in person with you, these are the same questions I would be asking you. When I was training yesterday, I was asking these same questions. I even showed them the slides. I'm like, here, let me pull up the slides.
Right.
They're right there. They're like, oh, okay, where can I access this? Courses, not next, so it's all there. Like, this particular course has a built from scratch in mind, not an optimization approach. Like
Right.
if you have to build it from scratch, everything's there for you.
Right, and we try to take all the heavy lifting off of like the email acquisition page, which
Yeah,
would look
get a little
like
template for
the
that,
landing
too.
page. We actually, that's right,
Yeah,
we've got a template.
for
If
Unbounce.
you use Unbounce, that's right, for
Yeah.
landing pages, you can download the template and just fill in the information. So we're trying to make it as simple as possible. We're working with a couple technology companies to try to get them to engineer our templates into their software,
just
which would be
plug and play.
awesome. But folks, I think we're actually out of time. It is exactly 2 o'clock Central Time. We really want to thank you for joining us
Yes,
today. I
thank
know
you.
that I saw that we had a few different little technical bumps. We're going to continue to iron those out, but look, we're testing, and we really appreciate your grace and patience. We will send out a video
Yep.
later today once it's fully rendered, and you will have access to this so you can review it again. Again, you've got all the materials that are available to you in the online course. And again, we just want to thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Thank you.